What's going on, guys? Belair here. I have a great game of Rocket League to bring you today. This is from Open Qualifier 1 over in APAC. This is Sphinx Point of View, Luminosity Gaming, going up against Elevate. And just to meet our players, in case you're not super familiar with the Asia Pacific region, these are the two best teams by a pretty wide margin here. As you can see by Aquadome, we are on game 5 and we are en route to a Luminosity win here. And we'll talk about the best team in the region, Luminosity, here in just a moment. But just to talk about who their opponents are, they are no slouches over here in Team Elevate. Tho was playing in APAC last season. And just for a little bit of context, Tho, 8 S-tier events over his career, 33 A-tier events, most of those in Europe. He even won a regional over in Europe with Guild some time back. So definitely a player with a pretty decorated resume from one of the best regions in the world. And the same goes for Ocelon, who was participating in qualifiers all the way back in Season 4. And finally, Maxiu, probably one of the most decorated players who is native to Asia Pacific as his playing region. He's been a part of 7 S-tier events, most of those alongside Virtuoso. Now with Luminosity here, and we're going to see the first part of this game is going to be a bit of a demo fest here. Luminosity Gaming, Sphinx going to grab another demo there. This is Sphinx, who I want to talk about last. Sosa, if you've been watching for a while, you probably noticed from North America. He's played for Pittsburgh Knights. He was on Koi with Gyro and Cheese, and he was on Treehouse for a very short while, and that was actually Reveal and Scribbles before they went ahead and played with Frosty. So definitely some talent that Sosa has been a part of for a while, and has decided to move across to APAC here to try and fulfill the dreams of making a major. I don't know if that's why he did it, but he's actually living over in Malaysia, if I recall correctly. So has fully committed, as opposed to some of the, situations we've seen in the past by nameless players just playing across regions. And of course, Catalysm. A player who I have always really appreciated, back to my early fandom of Evil Geniuses, but he was a part of that Evil Genius roster with Ivan and RizX45, who made a LAN. He was also part of teams like German Amigos, PSG Tundra, to name a few. And Sphinx here, now that we've met our players, let's look at this. Sphinx going for something here. Gets the great catch and is just going to try and musty this one top bins, though with a great save, but he is really spacing out the defense here. Now, APAC has not had a great record at LANs. It just is what it is. They're 4-34 all time, and a couple of those wins have come against, like SSA. So it's kind of like, the weak just eating the weaker in some situations. Have typically been a pretty easy walkover, as Sphinx almost able to get up and put that one on target there. It has been one of those situations where they've just kind of got destroyed. We think back to the Copenhagen LAN when Sphinx was on Elevate, his debut at the international stage. They get walked over by BDS in a pretty easy 0-3. Rule 1, absolutely run them off the pitch. And then they finally bow out to a second-seeded Pioneers from OCE that was, what was that roster? Scrub, Amphis, Fiber, I'm pretty sure. And they, the only success that the region has really been able to find is when they had that Elevate roster with the region's GOAT from players who were native to it. Realize was playing alongside Tokyo Verdi, and finally alongside Virtuoso and Kami, the all-time leading assist man from OCE, by the way. And Sphinx unable to get up to that one there. But that roster was actually able to do some damage. That Elevate roster, they, if you remember, beat G1, and who else did they beat? They beat two teams on LAN, and I can't recall who the other one is. Maybe it was Pioneers. Oh well. But that was APAC kind of putting themselves on the map with some homegrown talent in Realize, who continues to stream and is doing his part to grow the esport, and we're gonna have to watch this one back. Let's set the stage here. They're actually down a goal in this game 5, trying to get closer to sealing the deal here against Elevate. Sphinx is going to take the space off this one after forcing Tho to make a turnover. The perfect layoff into air dribble bump to Sosa to even things up with 14 seconds left. Probably their last offensive opportunity. Sphinx ice cold right there. Now, like we were saying, Realize continues to grow the sport. Realize is Japanese, and the other day he had put up, and hopefully I overlay this over the video as we head to overtime here. The other day had overlaid that, the other day had relayed rather, that he had, I think it was like 1,200 concurrent. I'll have to go look at the tweet, but concurrent viewers for his stream. And if you go on Twitch right now, depending on time zones, there's a pretty good chance that some Japanese streamers are going to be really high up the rankings on Twitch for the Rocket League category, and we're early into overtime here. As Tho is going to hand this one over. Ocelon can't get up to it. Sphinx going to pop this one over, gets the quick read, and just slots that perfectly in. A goal and an assist back to back from Sphinx here to seal the deal. Let's actually head over to game 6 and see if Elevate can close things out and talk a little bit more about this growing region. Game 6, Neo Tokyo, where dreams go to die. Sticking on Sphinx point of view here, so he's going to get the early demo, and then Max is going to try and bait him in here, but just a strong challenge there by Sphinx, who tries to make the heads up play and go forward for a demo, and is just going to slot this one in. The speed showing out here for Luminosity Gaming early to open up the scoring here. Like we were saying, the game is continuing to grow, and growth isn't always linear. You know, I think about an esport like the NBA. I'm distracted by the high quality of this heads up play by Sphinx. Let's watch this one back one more time here. Maxu with the pop. Sphinx going to get up, meet him, and then that little deft touch right there to put it past Ocelon. Doesn't have the boost to beat Tho in a 1v1. How about 2 bumps for Catalysm to get the finger roll layup to put them up 2-0. I think about the growth of a sport like basketball, more specifically the NBA. The fandom overseas in countries like China, for example, is larger than it is domestically, which is kind of shocking. You would just assume American sport, but not only a bigger population, but the fandom is huge there. Even take a sport like, I could do a million examples of this, but like baseball, like Shohei Ohtani and what he's been able to do at a high level, and what baseball means overseas. It's just, I think we oftentimes forget about the growth that can happen there. And maybe APAC, to tie a bow on this point, can be one of those regions who continues to develop. We have seen that Sam and MENA specifically have kind of come into the fold here to challenge North America and Europe in many ways, and OCE will always have its growing pains. Sub-Saharan Africa is kind of a challenging one as well. We currently see that they're being dominated by non-native players. Maybe APAC is the next growing region where we see some wonder kids start to pop up, and especially to continue that NBA reference for just a moment, the way in which basketball, professional basketball, typically goes is a lot of your best players in the NBA, as their careers start to enter into a different phase, they will move overseas and help those regions grow. And that's what we've seen from players like Virtuoso and Kami before, and now on the pitch, and we're seeing with players like Tho, Ocelon, Catalysm, and Sosa. Almost a great save there by Sphinx. It's probably very unlikely that this team is able to make any damage this season, but I'll still be watching, especially for Sphinx, a player who, much like Realize before him, it's not like there's a ton of there's not life-changing money to be made for playing Rocket League over in these regions. Even if you're winning, the prize pool is substantially smaller than it is for North America and Europe, and you're splitting that with your teammates. So this is really a labor of love, the quality of game that Sphinx brings to the table. It's just something that I've admired since we saw him at Copenhagen, um, and moving forward. And the same goes for a player like Maxu, who uh, doesn't quite have uh, the same trajectory as a player like Sphinx, just because he's later into his career, but still has done some big things for the region and will be remembered historically. 2 minutes left. Catalysm going to get up to this ball over the top of Ocelon, makes this one really tough. And Sphinx and Sosa are not going to overcommit here, although that is a challenge that Sosa definitely is going to want back. I think this team is really going to struggle against the pressure of some regions. I think about a matchup like Carmine Core. They're probably going to get Braziled 1 or 2 times over in that, but that's really not why you're showing up. If you're Luminosity, you're looking to get a win over a wild card or a TSM or whomever ends up showing up for OCE. You're looking to take one off of, a North American 4 seed or something like that. And this team definitely has the ability to get a high quality win, similar to when Elevate beat a team like G1, which at the time was stunning. That was actually Atomic, who is on Twisted Minds. Am I going to be able to remember this perfectly? Was it Atomic, Dorito, and Oli? I feel like it was. And, that's a pretty good team to be beating there. So, again, hats off to them. 30 seconds left. It looks like Elevate have just been unable to get their offense rolling here. Sphinx is going to smartly pop out to this one. Catalysm is going to cut that one off, and that's the dagger. Tho is going to lay down the controller and get demoed. Let's see that from Tho POV here. I believe... well, we missed it. Let's watch it back one more time here. Maxu in the corner, Sphinx. Tho just thinks he has time, and Catalysm is just going to cut that. Sosa makes him pay for it to put the nail in the coffin here. As Luminosity are going to take down Elevate once again. Luminosity undefeated on the season in groups or in the playoffs. They are yet to lose, and I don't know if they've even gone to a Game 7, to be honest with you. I think this Game 6 is the closest they've gone. I'm not sure why Open 2 replays aren't available yet on ball chasing, but Tho is going to leave, and that is going to be our game, as Catalysm is going to fill up the scoreboard here. Sphinx, yet again, all over it on the scoreboard. Have you guys been watching any of this region, and what is it that really excites you about watching emerging regions like this? Is there a player in SSA or APAC or even OCE by extension who you have been focused on or are a really big fan of, who you don't think gets the spotlight that they deserve? Let me know in the comments below. Guys, hope you have a great weekend ahead. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and as always, take it easy.